Quasi here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the internal world that you need to be a successful entrepreneur and a business owner, why most people fail to do it, and really the 6 qualities that you need to separate yourself from a consumer mindset to a producer mindset. I really want you to stick around to the very end of this video because these lessons took me a long time to figure out and a lot of trial and error to figure out. And what I saw was that when I was a certain person and I embodied certain characteristics in my life, my business and my life followed a certain trajectory. But when that changed and I embodied completely different characteristics, my business took a turn and started growing massively. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that if you're looking to sign up for the free one-to-one consult for the Reality Mastery Program, now's your chance. Make sure you wait around till the end of the video for the announcement on how to do that. And with that, let's get started. So in this video, I want to talk to you about the internal world that you need to be a successful entrepreneur and why so many people jump from one attempt to the next and why they fail. And really what I saw was that after working with so many entrepreneurs, after working with so many business owners, there's one big thing that separates out all of them. Okay, and really most people fail because they lack persistence. Okay, it's easily put in that simple way. They just lack persistence. So we will see people who will have come in trying out all the different business opportunities with an Amazon FBA, the stock trading, the affiliate marketing, the real estate investing, and they just jump from one opportunity to the next and then they can never stick to it. But what I started to see was that this also happened in my personal life when I first got into business, but I couldn't understand why it happened until I started to look within myself. Okay, as corny as that sounds, what you want to understand is that the lack of persistence stems from something, right? This is the effect that you're seeing. The lack of persistence and jumping around from one opportunity to the next is just a simple little gimmick that's visible to you. But there's a reason why it happens, okay? And why that happens, and before I get to that, is I want to share with you why I almost failed when I started up a business, okay? So as you know, when I first got into this journey, I wanted to get to financial freedom. I saw that I was working in this professional career in engineering and it was a toxic environment. People would just basically want to kill themselves there. Like there's 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds who are just looking forward to retirement every single day, just looking forward to the end of the day, and they just couldn't enjoy being there. So I started to look at myself and I said, well, do I really want that for my life? And the obvious answer was no. So the natural next step was to take the risks necessary for me to transition out. So then I tried out all the different business opportunities and I saw that my heart wasn't in any of them. But even more than that, I didn't even know what I wanted to achieve with that. So the big thing for me was having this unclear vision. When you have an unclear vision, naturally you're going to jump from one opportunity to the next, right? If I didn't like doing trading, I didn't like sitting in a room for 3 to 5 hours just looking at charts, and I'm not passionate about that. Don't get me wrong. Some people are very, very passionate about that. It's their craft. They want to master it. They really like to do it. But for me, it wasn't that. Right? I saw that, all of those opportunities were very, very dry and it was just a means to an end. Financial freedom was a vague idea for me to escape what I didn't want to do, right? Which was a professional career. So I was coming from an escapist mindset. I was more focused on what I wanted to get out of rather than what I actually wanted to get into. So that was the big, eureka moment for me. So that led me to, understanding why this lack of persistence even happens. So what you want to understand, and this is the big key here, is persistence is the effect, right? You can't stick to it. Oh, you jump around from one opportunity to the next. That's the effect. But persistence comes from a lack of confidence in what you're doing, right? If you're not confident about this opportunity or even in your business, right? Let's say you try out different business tactics and strategies to help you scale up. This is also what we see with our entrepreneurs. They jump from one shiny object to the next. Why does this happen? What is the cause of this? So this lack of persistence in following one course of action, aka focus, happens because you're not confident about what you're doing right now. So naturally you look around for what will give you that sense of confidence, right? So this is where this shiny object syndrome begins. But even the confidence, the lack of confidence stems from somewhere, Okay? And where the lack of confidence stems from is the lack of clarity. So this was always the first step, understanding that you got to get crystal clarity about where you want to take your life. Because once you have clarity, like think about it this way. If you were so clear about where you want to take your life, where you want to take your business, would you have a lack of confidence? If you knew clearly that this was the next step to take, would you second guess and doubt yourself? Would you have a lack of confidence? Confidence doesn't even become an issue here, right? So what you're looking for is not confidence, okay? What you're looking for is not persistence, but get to the actual source of it. You need to become clear about where you want to take your life. You need to get clear about where you want to take your business. You need to get clear not just intellectually about a dollar figure of where you want to get to, but also emotionally, which will bring your unconscious into alignment. So your heart and your mind both have to be on the same page. So this is what helped me really find that one opportunity in learning that I actually want to coach people. I want to help people transform their lives and finding a way to do that, which helped me grow really quickly from 0 to 100K months in my business within 11 months of starting it, right? So really what I want to say with this is you want to get clear about what you want, not how you're going to get there, okay? Not what you think you want, because when I went into entrepreneurship, I was like, ooh, I think I want to start this business. This sounds good, okay? I think I want to start it. Let's try it out, let's start it. And then I would, try it out and it wouldn't stick. To be honest with you, if I were persistent in that and I could stick to it, it probably would have stuck. But I just didn't want to do it, right? I was just throwing spaghetti at a wall, hoping something would stick. So even in starting up a coaching business, there were obvious challenges there too. But I could be persistent during those challenges because I liked to do it. My heart was on the same page. I would have done it for free. I would have made these YouTube videos for free for the rest of my life just because I like to do it. I like to give people value. Okay, I like to share what I'm finding. I like to share and grow and help others grow. Right? So this is something that I'm passionate about. Other people are passionate about creating products and, using Amazon FBA businesses. So all of those are valid. They're completely valid. But if you want to get to a certain point, you can't just have like a money goal. Money was never, if I was just solely focused on the money, I wouldn't have gotten very far. Like this is way more than the money. Do you know what I mean? Because those who are just focused on the money, they'll get stopped at a certain level. If you're just focused on the money, 10K a month is good enough. 20K a month is good enough. Yes, you have money. But you've got to understand why it is you're even doing it. There has to be a reason greater than just you. There's a reason greater than just money. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the payoff, the feeling that the money brings. It's the fulfillment that the money brings. That's why people stick to it. That's what separates you doing like a hobby, 5, 10K, 20K month into something that's revolutionary, doing 100K, 200K, 500K months in your business and actually making an impact. So for me, the money symbolizes the impact that I make, okay? So now I want to share with you the 6 things that separated and the 6 realizations I had that separated me from being in a consumer mindset to me being in a producer mindset. This is going to be extremely crucial for you if you're looking to transition out into entrepreneurship, even if you're already an entrepreneur. Okay, this is the separation that gets you from the inconsistent 0 to 5K months in your business, getting one client here and there, not really having it stick, to actually building a revolutionary empire, to drawing that state from within, to getting not just intellectual but also emotional clarity on your life. Okay, so make sure you stick around to the very, very end of this. So here is going to be the 6 different things that separates you from a consumer to a producer mindset, and really what helped me out. The biggest thing, the number one thing why most consumers fail to go into a producer and most professionals fail to go into entrepreneurs is because they're dependent on that weekly paycheck, right? They're dependent on an external structure and that bi-weekly paycheck that they get. This is the biggest source of a dopamine spike for you right now. If you look at the world around you, most people who work full-time jobs, their biggest source of dopamine spike is getting that weekly paycheck in the bank account, right? That makes you feel good. That sort of tailors around every single thing that you do in your life. When you have a certain amount of money, it's like, oh, time to spend it. What you think you're worth, you will keep and you'll be able to maintain. But then on top of that, everything else you'll self-sabotage and find a way to. We have so many people who make a lot of money in their businesses, but they can't keep it. Right? They'll do 10, 20K months, but because they believe they're worthy of the 5K month, everything above the 5K, they'll just spend and completely expend, right? So this is also what happens with consumers. You believe you're worthy of a certain amount, and then you craft your life around the paycheck. Oh, okay, I got paid 2K. Let's spend 1K of it. So this is the dependency on a paycheck makes you secure. It gives you a safety net. It makes you, again, dependent on it. Then you wait for the next 2 weeks and then the next 2 weeks, okay? But as a producer, this is completely different because now you're dependent on yourself. If I don't make a sale in my business this month, I don't make money. No one's gonna have sympathy or pity on me. Government's not gonna give me money. So I'm completely dependent on my income. When you become an entrepreneur, when you become a producer, the value that you produce, and you're basically getting rewarded on the value that you give to the world, okay? The problem that you solve for your market, not by just showing up and clocking in and clocking out. This is the big difference that helped me understand that, it really is the quality of work that I do. It's not about how many hours that I put in. I'm not trading time for money, but it's about, actually making a genuine impact and doing something valuable. You get paid on value, not on the time that you put in, okay? That's the number one difference. Number two, what consumers do, this is also a poor people mindset, they always invest in short-term pleasures, okay? They will buy things like, things that will help you feel good. You have a nice car and you have enough money to buy a nice TV and anything that gives you a shorter term pleasure in your life. Oh, let's go buy that trip. Let's go and take that trip to XYZ. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just an incessant focus on the short-term pleasures. Even if they invest in themselves, it'll always be like a cheap $97 course, and they'll buy like hundreds of different $97 courses instead of buying like one $1,000 course, right? Actually committing and doubling down. They'll buy many different things. This is a consumer mindset. They jump from one thing to the next, have the shiny object syndrome, okay? But producers invest in things that give them a longer term pleasure. Okay, if you look at Jeff Bezos, he will invest and put down shit tons of money on things he won't get a reward until like 10 years from now, right? If you look at all of the projects that he did that actually became successful, Amazon Prime, he was losing money at first with Amazon Prime. Looking at Amazon Web Services, he tries to make them as cheap as possible so more and more customers can use it, more and more people can use it, and it's along with his philosophy of customer obsession, right? So he invests in longer term pleasures because he's truly a producer. So people who are consumers have a short-term view of their lives. They can't see past like a month, a week, or 3 months or 4 months, at max a year. They can't see past what their lives would look like. They don't have a vision that they're moving towards. That's why they always invest in shorter term pleasures. They'll invest in things that'll give them a quick return and a quick win and a quick dopamine spike, but nothing in the longer term that will contribute to the value of their lives. They don't have a plan. They don't have clarity. This is why they keep staying stuck. People with, a longer term vision, producers, they know what they want to create out of their businesses, right? People who do business and are really successful business people, they don't look for getting a quick win. They look at the longer term value that they're creating for their customers, the longer term value that they're creating for the business as well, right? So this is the number two difference between consumers and producers. Number three, this is very, very key. Okay, once I understood this, my life completely changed. Consumers reason by analogy, okay? They're in this herd mentality, meaning they will look at what other people have done and follow them. Oh, my friend Bob, bought that TV, so I should buy that. Oh, my friend Jim has this, so I should do that. Oh, my friend Bob said, you shouldn't buy online courses and they're all scam, so you shouldn't buy them. Yes. So they will always stay stuck in thinking and trying to please other people and basically like following the path that society dictates for them rather than choosing their own paths, okay? However, on the other hand, people who are producers don't give a shit about what other people think. Because if you want to be successful in business, if you want to be successful in your life, you've got to follow your own path, okay? And following your own path is learning how to reason via first principles. This is something I learned from Elon Musk, okay? This is how he reasons. Reasoning via first principles completely gets rid of analogy. Because if you're stuck in analogy, you're just like, oh, we do it this way because this is how it's always been done. Why change it? You know, that's a surefire way of failure in business, because if you're not innovating, you're going to get taken over by competition. So you want to reason via first principles. And what that essentially means is you break things down to their very, very core. Okay? So you see why people do the things that they do and why this happens the way that it does. Oh, you know, my friend said not to make YouTube videos. Well, why did he say that? Because people will laugh. But you know, if I do make YouTube videos, could people get value out of it, right? So I'm trying to see the upsides of it and what could happen, and like the core reason why people think the way that they do, and why this is more of a analogy is more of a fear-based and like avoidance and herd mentality. Versus if you want to make YouTube videos and you know people will get value out of them, you break it down to its very, very core, and you're like, okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. Also, in terms of like, let's say, courses, you know, analogy, oh, online programs are scam, you know, all of these things, they're just designed to make other people money and leave you broke. And that's complete bullshit, right? Because, you know, when you're reasoning by analogy, you're like, okay, yes, a lot of people are saying that, so this must be true. But, you know, when you reason via first principles, you're like, yeah, okay, maybe it is scam, but we don't know that yet because we haven't really seen proof of it. There is no objective evidence to it. You know, it's like, oh, online programs are combining a lot of different things you can find for free online. You know, you don't need to pay for it. But then you think about it, you're like, well, you can find sand, dust, and gravel in the earth, but that doesn't make an iPhone, you know? So you break it down into the very, very first principles. You start to become a critical thinker, and you become very, very objective about things before you make decisions. This is what separates consumers from producers, right? So that's number 3. Number 4, huge one as well. Consumers make slow decisions and always doubt themselves. Okay? This is what I was like too. I would have to think like for days for $100 purchase. And I would keep doubting myself over and over, like, oh, should I buy it? Oh, should I not? Oh, should I do it? Oh, should I not? And I saw that this is what kept me stuck in this cycle of moving a step forward and a step back. You know, one day I would feel good and I would do what I wanted, and the other day I wouldn't feel good and then I would avoid what I wanted. So this is solely a quality of people being reactive to their emotions. When you become reactive to your emotions, you always move around in a cycle. You'll never be able to move forward. So unsuccessful people, aka consumers who can't transition to producers, they will always make slow decisions. Right? This is also what Napoleon Hill talks about. He says how successful people make quick decisions once all the facts are presented to them, and they always stick to these decisions. Unsuccessful people make slow decisions and always change their minds. Okay, whoever makes slow decisions, it means you're hesitating. It means you have uncertainty. It means you can't double down on it. It's either a yes or a no. It's not a, oh, I need to think about it. That's what leads you to failure, and this sort of decision-making process is going to start to reflect out in every single area of your life and keep you stuck in this pattern. Successful people always make fast decisions and always commit. This is something I learned from Jeff Bezos as well. He has this principle in his business called high-velocity high-velocity decision-making. If you read the Bezos letters, it's a book by Steve Anderson, I think, and he talks about how there's this principle that Amazon lives by, which is high-velocity decision-making. Because in business, if you make a slow decision, you're dead. Okay? This is why consumers stay consumers. They make slow decisions and doubt. Producers become really successful because they make quick decisions and always stick to these decisions. They either... See, for producers, there's no success or failure, right? There's success and successful failures. You use the failure to help you get to success. But making a quick decision isn't about making a hasty, uncertain decision. Okay, it's about when all the facts are presented to you, you know you need to do this, but you keep listening to that old self that's like, oh no, what if it doesn't work? You make failure an option, right? By thinking like that, you make failure an option. So you can't just say, fuck it, let's do it. This is what we have a lot of people who can't make a decision about joining the program, about making transformation in their lives. And also why we've seen that people who do make the quick decisions always come out of it very, very successful, and we always do amazing work together because they don't have that hesitation in their minds, right? This is also what I saw was different for me. I used to go from taking 3 days to make a $100 decision to making like a $30,000 decision for my business in 1 hour, right? This is the difference that happened because of the change in this mindset, okay? So when your mindset, when your internal world changes, your external world starts to follow. This decision-making process starts to reflect out into every single area of your life. When you think too much about a decision, you get too much in your head about it. Your intuition doesn't function, okay? That's number 4. Number 5, absolutely crucial. Poor people, consumers, they value money over time. They hold on to their money, okay? They will save up $10,000 or $20,000 and they'll hold on to it. And they will work hard and act like they're poor, and not hire people when they need to or use services when they need to help them cut down the learning curve, right? But rich people and producers will always value time over money because they understand time is limited. You can't buy back time. You can make money back, but you can't buy back time. So that's why they never hesitate to, hire someone to do something for them. Like, think about it this way. Do you think producers who are very, very busy, whose time is the most valuable thing, they go out there to the DMV to get their licenses renewed? They probably have someone standing online for them and to do all this stuff for them. Like, think about Warren Buffett or Bill Gates going to the DMV, right? So that's number 5. Understanding that consumers will always value their money over time because they become a slave to their money. They hold on to it so much they become a slave to it. Their whole lives run around money and the scarcity. This is basically the scarcity cycle, okay? And when I say poor people versus rich people, I mean poor more so in the internal world. Because if you're internally poor, brokenness is just a temporary state. Like, rich people sometimes lose money and then they become broke temporarily, but they gain it back very, very quick. But poor people are internally poor. Like, when you're internally poor, you'll never see abundance in your life, okay? And finally, number 6, shiny object syndrome. Because of this lack of confidence that they have in themselves and the uncertainty that they live their lives with and the lack of clarity that they have of the longer term vision of their lives, they always have this shiny object syndrome. They keep jumping from one object to the next, aka buying things that they don't really need, holding on to more material object, or, buying, $49 courses, $97 courses instead of investing and committing to working with someone in a $10,000 program, in a $5,000 program, right? And, successful people have this focus. They can focus in on that one direction, right? Producers focus and stay 100% committed until they follow through with it. They pivot to change direction, but they never change the whole course of it. They're clear about their purpose. They're clear about where they want to take their lives, and that's why they always stay committed to it, okay? So with that, I conclude this video. I hope this was helpful. Let's recap really quickly. So this is what we talked about today. Okay, we really talked about the internal world required for you to become a successful entrepreneur and a successful producer. And the biggest reason for failure is the lack of persistence. But this lack of persistence is an effect, okay? The cause of this lack of persistence really is the lack of clarity. Because if you don't have clarity, you're not going to be confident about your decisions. If you're not going to be confident about your decisions, naturally you're going to jump from one thing to the next. You're not going to have that persistence. You probably have tried out business opportunities that would have been successful just if you stuck with it. If you just stuck with it, you would have become successful. But you can't stick with it because you're not confident about it, because you don't really want to do it, because you're not clear about what you want. Okay? That's number 1. And then we talked about the 6 things that separate successful entrepreneurs from the unsuccessful ones, consumers from producers, okay? Number 1 is consumers are so, used to that paycheck. The biggest high that they get is from the bi-weekly paycheck, and they craft their lives around the bi-weekly paycheck. I know this because I was there, right? And producers are solely responsible for their own income. If you don't make a sale this month, you don't get paid. If you're not valuable, you'll get eaten alive. There is no sympathy, there's no pity you're going to get by anyone. It's ruthless. And that's just how nature is. Nature is just ruthless. It'll eliminate you if you're not up to, par. Number 2, consumers always invest in things that give them a short-term pleasure. This also comes from the paycheck dependence. And why they do this is because they don't have clarity for that longer-term vision of their life. So they can't make decisions that will contribute to the longer term. Okay? Producers always invest in longer-term pleasures. Okay, they always invest in their education, they always invest in their personal growth, their business growth. They don't take too long to make decisions, which brings me to my next point as well. But really, before getting to that, understand that number 3 is consumers reason by analogy, what other people think, what other people say, and they're in this herd mentality. They follow others, they're followers. Producers are leaders. They reason through first principles, whether or not this is a good decision to make, objectively looking at it by breaking it down into core fundamentals. Okay? Number 4 is consumer make slow decisions and always change their decisions. Producers always make quick decisions because they know before they even come into the decision-making process about what they want. And intuitively they can see, once all the facts are presented, whether or not this would fit in to that vision of their lives that they want to create. Okay, so they never have to think twice. When it makes sense, you don't have to think twice, and you don't have to listen to that other voice in your head that says, let's see where this could fail. Let's see if there are any doubts. What do I doubt here? Because whatever you're looking for, you're going to find. If you're looking for a reason to doubt something and a process, you're going to find it, and that process won't be successful for you. Okay? That's the next one. And number 5, understand that consumers hold on to their money and they always value money over time. But producers value their time over money. Their time is the most precious thing to them. Okay? And finally, consumers have a shiny object syndrome. Producers focus on one thing until they achieve the desired outcome. And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was helpful. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. And also, if you were wondering about the free one-to-one consult, as I mentioned before, spots for that are open. Make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up for that. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you, either myself or someone from my team will be getting on the phone with you to determine how we can take your life to the next level. Okay, typically who we work with are, first of all, professionals who are looking to transition out and start up their own businesses. And again, they've tried the different business opportunities, but nothing ever sticks because they don't have that clarity. They don't know who they need to become to achieve that. Okay, if that sounds like you, click on the link in the description below to sign up. Let's see how we can help. Also, we work with entrepreneurs who are stuck at a certain revenue level in their businesses. You know, they're really stuck at this current identity and they see they have an internal ceiling that basically keeps them stuck here. Right? They don't have an external tactical or strategic problem. They have all of the business mentors, all the masterminds, all the coaches, all the tactics and strategies. But again, it's an internal ceiling keeping them stuck here. If that sounds like you, click on the link in the description below to sign up. Let's see how we can help. And also the free Facebook group is open for you to take advantage of. The link for that is also in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Peace.